Presented by YouTube TV. Great to have you with us. Grant Hill, Steve Smith, Shaquille O'Neal. I'm Matt Weiner. This was a much more interesting game tactically for both teams. The Mavericks came out, played much better, got into their offense a little earlier, took Luka off the ball in the backcourt maybe to save his legs. He was great most of the night. Still didn't get tons of easy buckets along the way, but Boston wasn't knocking down threes, and that was a leveler to some extent in this game. Smitty, in your mind, what was the difference ultimately?
You know, I think the difference was, like you said, is the Mavericks didn't get easy buckets. Also, they didn't knock down threes, but I got to give a lot of credit to just the overall defense of the Boston Celtics. Started off with Drew Holiday, Derek White, and the entire team. They are locked in on making them take tough twos and also contested threes, and that's been the difference without fouling.
Yeah.
And a good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to the King's Court Live on If You Don't Like That. We've got a triple header of coverage for you today. Grant's going to be back at 5 for Open Forum, and then 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to wrap up the Stanley Cup Finals and talk NBA Finals, talk the news of the weekend. Anything happen in Sacramento, y'all? Any news break in Sacramento? Was it a quiet weekend? Let me know. Welcome in, check in. Let me know where you're coming from. I'm not going to lie to you. You did not get a King's Court morning shoot around this morning because I am playing hurt. I don't know what happened, but we had a nice little Sunday yesterday. We went to the Smud Museum. Little man had a good time. Came home and went for a walk after dinner. I was watching the basketball game, felt fine. And then all of the sudden, it felt like my head was going to explode. Just, pew. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I am not headache guy. I usually do not get headaches. And it's been a little bit of a roller coaster since then. Negative on the COVID test. It is not COVID, so we're good there. But playing through a little bit of whatever's going on. I know something's floating around out there. So if you see me in public, you probably don't want to come say hi, at least for a couple days. How was everybody's weekend? How the heck are we doing today? Let's get our check-ins going. C-Dog, I was texting with this dude on Saturday night about the hockey game. Edmonton, if you look at the stats, should have won that hockey game. Talk about goaltending to the max for this Florida's goaltender. Special, really special. Finchy, what's up, my man? Happy Monday, Flores. Does it feel like a sweep is coming? It kind of does. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nobody is helping Luka Doncic right now. Nobody is helping Luka. Bane, I know. Yes, you found it. Maybe your hair is too short. So, funny story. So, 2 haircuts ago, I did what I normally do. I go to the barber shop, get it taken care of. It's perfect. Maybe one of the best haircuts of my life, right? And so then I was like, well, I can let my wife just touch it up because she used to do hair for a living. And for whatever reason, she didn't do anything wrong, but it got to like that awkward length. And then like I kind of looked at like I had this retreating thing going on. So you notice there was a lot of hats here in the King's Court. And so I was like, screw it, just start going. Let's see. I don't care if we have to go short, like I just want to get it taken care of. But the funny thing was I have not had my hair this short since Grant and I shaved our heads for charity, or we did an event. Most of it was for charity. Some of it covered expenses. But my son, he's sitting there and he's like, is Grant going to shave his head too? And I'm like, Oh, you remember that. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, maybe we'll ask Grant about that. Maybe we can get him to come home and go short as well. And yeah, Bane, we're going to get to this, probably our top story. There's some gray area there about what he's informed the team about. So I think one thing's clear. He doesn't want to come back to the Kings. I think we can probably safely put that to bed. But the next question after that is he going to remain, or is he trying to remain in the NBA, or is he going back to Europe? That might be, the big question here. Can the Kings, really the Kings, because his first 2 years of his contract are guaranteed. So if they waive him, how's that going to work? We can get into, I don't want to get too much into the weeds with it because we don't have anything solid yet. We've just got a bunch of reports. So we'll go off that. The Kings have not made a formal statement yet, nor should they. And at the end of the day, what are we talking about? If you notice, all of our, or most of our postseason or an off-season conversations have not included Sasha Vezenkov. There's been a reason for that. And I gave him an incomplete grade last year for his performance because he dealt with so many injuries. But it just didn't look like he was going to be in the long-term future of this team. It didn't feel like from jump that Mike Brown really had a spot for him. So is it shocking? No. Was he having a big impact on the team? No. So is this really even that big of a story? Kind of, because the Kings are already behind the 8 ball with their roster and the holes they need to fill. But we're talking about the guy at the end of the bench that might not come back to the team. Is it any different than Alex Len, JaVale McGee? Not really in the grand scheme of things. Like I said, we're going to get back to the comments. We can also take your phone calls. You can call through Restream or you can call through 916. You know what? I did not put the ticker up. How wrong of me. There we go. You can call 916-399-3748. NBA guru Zach kicking us off today on a Monday. What's up, brother?
How you doing, Ry-doe?
Good, dude. You're not working today, huh?
No, got the day off. Just want to talk some sports today.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
I mean, just the big things over the weekend was the Sasha stuff for the Kings and then the Celtics game. But Sasha won. I mean, it's not too big of a deal. Like you were saying, I pretty much agree with everything you were saying. It's obvious that he's not very happy. He's not getting the shots that he was in Europe. He's just a spot up shooter here, and gets the ball a few times, chucks a couple threes, and he goes to get his paycheck the next day. I don't know if that. I guess it doesn't look like that's what he wants. It's funny that the news came a little bit after the Mike Brown signing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he doesn't. He's not on the same page with him, which I can understand on his point. But from the Kings' perspective, I don't think it's a huge deal like you're saying. The only thing I guess I'm slightly worried about is it would have been nice to have him as like an asset in a trade, just to throw in thing. Something like that.
The other thing, though, we got to give Sasha some love because if the reports are true, he did this before the draft. He did this before free agency. This could have came way later in the process. So anybody that wants to hate on him, you got to look at that first and foremost.
Yeah, for sure. And and like you said, it's not really clear if he wants to be in the NBA one more year or 2 years, or if he wants to go back to Europe, or if he just wants to get a bigger role somewhere else. So it's kind of hard to really say anything about that.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, would an NBA team, if he wants to stay in the NBA, maybe take a flyer on him? Possibly. I don't know. I mean, if it's the right situation. But I think the key to what this entire thing is what you said. It was another asset that the Kings could have thrown at a trade. That if you look at with Sasha, because of the injuries last year, because of the infrequent play time, I guess the jury was still out. That's why we were saying, hey, his season grade's an incomplete. So maybe a team would look at that and say, hey, you know what? We think we could do something with him. He's a pretty good. He was the Euro MVP. Look at Luka Doncic right now. So yeah you're right.
I'll say this something that I just thought about is I don't know if his role would change in any other team. I just don't. I feel like he'll just be a spot up shooter, and that's pretty much it. He's a kind of a liability on defense. He's a little slow footed, but I'm just thinking out loud here. Yeah, I don't know if he would have a much bigger role somewhere else. I mean, it's not like he's a young prospect either.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't think his defense was terrible. Yeah, he's a little heavy-footed, but
Mhm.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, and I mean, maybe that speaks to how bad the Kings were at times defensively. Teams tried him when he was on the floor. I remember LeBron tried him a couple of times, and Sasha held his own.
Yeah, that's a good point. He did have some good scenes for his defense here and there, but yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens with that asset. I mean, uh, but yeah, I was gonna ask for the Celtics. For the Celtics Dallas series, are you worried at all for Dallas, or you still think they'll
Yes.
make it?
No, I'm terrified for Dallas. Absolutely terrified. Luka's being held together by some Flex Seal at this point. Kyrie, 28 points in 2 games.
Yeah,
Dallas is not playing above the rim. They're not being the aggressors. They're not controlling the pace. I mean, everything is wrong with what they're doing now is completely opposite of everything they did in the postseason to get here.
yeah. The matchups are too nice for Boston, in my opinion. Drew, Jason
Drew,
Tatum,
yeah,
Brown. It's just they're just perfect for stopping Kyrie and Doncic, and they're just letting the role players shoot, and they're not making their shots. And maybe at home, role players play better at home. So we'll see if that makes a change. The funny thing was, I was trying to ask, or I was just thinking in my head, what would I think the line would be for Game 3? And I was gonna guess Boston -2.5 or 3.5, but it's Dallas -1.5. So
interesting. Well, it's because of
yeah,
Boston's inconsistencies,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
for sure.
Yeah, I see what Bane's saying. He's like terrified. The series doesn't start till the home team loses a game. Yes, I get that's the classic saying, but it's the way everybody else is playing. I know, and I guess maybe that's the hole in my argument. Dallas has still been in these games, so maybe it isn't as bad as I think. But Luka, he was questionable. He got
Yeah,
downgraded yesterday. So I don't know what his status is going to be. I just know that Dallas was playing above the rim. They can't do that right now. Drew Holiday has been incredible. And actually, Tatum for Boston has not looked that special to me. He
yeah.
really hasn't.
That's the scary part. He hasn't played well, and they still kind of win these games easily. I mean, yeah, it's an 8 to 10 point game for a lot of the game, but I don't think anyone's thinking, oh, Boston. We're worried for Boston when they're up by 10 for most of these games. But yeah, I think that, yeah, I just think Tatum could play a lot better, and for Dallas, the role players got to make their shots, and Kyrie's got to be playing better. He's kind of not looked great. He's probably like the fifth, sixth best player in the series right now. And for Doncic, I just think that, yeah, he's doing all he can. And for his injury that you were bringing up, it's kind of weird because like he did look like he's just so weird to watch if he's hurt or not, because he did get a week off from from between the last series and this series, so you would think he would get better, but now he's like hurt again. I don't know, it's just weird. He does, I feel like he does try to show off that he's hurt too a little bit more than a lot of other NBA players.
I don't. Yeah, I get it. I mean, he is a little. He's dramatic.
Yeah,
You got to say that. I mean, he's getting into it with. There was a fan in the front row. He was getting into it with, in Boston. Like he does. I don't want to say overcomplicate things, and I think that's why Grant said Luka's not the easiest guy to play with in the past.
hmm
But it's just who Luka is. I the problem is, and you lay it out perfectly, for things to go Dallas's way, it's like setting up a bunch of dominoes, right? Luka's the first one. If he's rolling, then arguably Kyrie is not the second one. To me, it's the role players that are the
hmm
second one, because when those role players are on, that opens Kyrie up to be, he doesn't have to be the old Kyrie Irving. He doesn't always have to create his shot now. And that's where he's been really special this postseason. Obviously, he's great around the rim as well. Wizard around the rim, some people say. But if the role players aren't going, then you're not getting to that third domino, because you've seen Kyrie is not Kyrie anymore. That's why he's done so great in Dallas. He's embraced that second, third role, whatever it may be. Really quick, I want to get to this. My man, Dennis. So, Dennis, What can you hate on about Sasha? I'm not hating on anything
I don't think we're hating
about.
on him at all.
Yeah, we're not. I think he's just talking about in general people that may hate about this. Now, what you can be a little bit upset about, and if I was a betting man, when Grant rolls in here at 5 o'clock, and then when we're on tonight at 8 o'clock, what was he saying about Mike Brown? You signed a contract, fulfill your contract. He's going to say that about Sasha. That
Yeah.
would be my guess. So if that's the area where there's going to be some hate, it's going to be like, hey, you're guaranteed money here in Sacramento, 2 years. You're going to walk away.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because I just thought, we've been talking about him for 4 years. I don't know how many years for him coming to the league. And, he always, I think it was his dream of his to make it to the NBA and see how it goes. I would think that he would he got hurt a couple times. He had some momentum during the season. And I would think he would want to give it another go, one more year fulfill his contract, like you're saying. And try to run it back and be healthy and try to see if he can improve and develop his game a little bit in the NBA, different than the Euro style. So hopefully, so that's the only unfortunate thing is I would want that motivation for him to try to run it back with the Kings and see if he can play better with us.
I'm with you. And I don't know why that's not being pushed or sold a little bit more. And again, I don't want to get too far into the weeds. This isn't Malik Monk that we're talking about to the Kings. We're talking about somebody at the end of the bench, but really the sample size was not enough because he was hurt. You can't, unless there was something that happened behind the scenes that he's not agreeing with the training staff and the medical team, it's really hard to say that he got a real dose of what the NBA and what being on the Kings could be like because he wasn't around the team a ton. He was rehabbing, he barely played. So I don't know if this is more an NBA or a Kings thing. Maybe he just wants to go back to being the big fish in a little pond.
Yeah, he's not being a Euro League MVP here and getting all these shots and the stardom and the love like he was in the Euro League. So maybe he misses a little bit of that. But if I was him, I would be like, let's run it back at least one more year and see what happens. And if I'm not happy, then I can leave and go back. But at least give it 2 years in the NBA and not just one where I was hurt and that's it.
I don't know if I agree with this, Dre. What about you, Zach? Jason Tatum is seeing the same tough double teams in defense that Anthony Edwards was facing, but Boston is way more deep and is an overall better team. I agree with the back end of it, but I haven't seen a ton of double teams on Tatum this series.
No, I haven't seen a lot of I haven't seen a crazy amount of double teams. I think that his shot selection isn't great, and sometimes he's forcing it a little bit. And I think that first game he got the refs kind of. I'm not trying to make an excuse or anything, but I feel like he got roughed up a little bit in that first game, and so he turned the ball over a lot. But I think he's just shot selection's not great. Dallas has played decent defense, so we all know he's capable of scoring 40, 50 points in a game. Last year, Game 7, 50-pointer.
Yeah, he's special.
We'll see if he continues to be the second, third, fourth best player. But who's your Finals MVP so far?
It probably realistically Jaylen Brown would be the pick in the media, but I think Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has just been ridiculous on both ends of the court.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really close between. I even think Tatum should be in the conversation.
Sure,
I know. His shooting I know is not great, but he's still facilitating and he's trying to be aggressive here and there. But yeah, he's just not making his shots. I think. Yeah, right. I think Brown probably could be the number one right now, and Drew is right there. And man, it's really tough. Personally, for me, if the series ended right now, I probably would give it to Brown too. But I would probably put Tatum maybe second.
Because for a guy like Drew to get it, even though he's a star in this league, even though he's a starter on that team, he's got to be head and shoulders above those other two. Because the conversation is always Tatum and Brown. Who's going to be the guy? Yada, yada, yada. Okay, Dennis, my man, you know I love me some Dennis, but let's be careful here. Coach didn't believe in him. Dennis, were you in the locker room? Were you in the team meetings? All that we saw was coach didn't always turn to him. That doesn't mean he didn't believe in Sasha. It might have been a matchup thing. There may have been things going behind the scenes where Sasha wasn't feeling well with the ankles. That he sprained. You only have 2 ankles, and he sprained 3 of them this year. Only 2 of them were reported. So that was, for a guy like Sasha, he's got to get extended run before you know what you have in him. So any judgment on what he is as an NBA player, other than he's a spot up shooter, because he is a spot up shooter. Outside of that, that's about it that we can say for the most part. Hey, okay, corn dog, dude. Why did you get me sick? You come into the King's Court sick, and now you got me sick, corn dog. Can you believe that, Zach? Like, what is wrong? He should have been wearing a. Never mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going there.
The King's Court's infested with all these germs, Condog.
Yes, that's funny. I hope you feel better, buddy. Being sick stinks, my man.
Yeah, for Sasha, I think I kind of disagree because, I mean, even Mike Brown, he played him at that last, I think he played in that Pelicans game even a little bit. And I thought he wasn't even going to get a minute from coming back from that injury. But, Mike Brown needed to try something out different in that last Pelicans playing game. And he played Sasha a little bit. I don't think he did much, but, I don't know if he doesn't believe in him. I feel like that's kind of a stretch right there.
Adam's taken up for Dennis. Did I misread it? All right, my bad. If I misread it, sorry, Dennis. I said I love you at the beginning, dude. We're good. Everybody is subject to a little bit of it here on the King's Court. Tatum is nearly averaging a triple-double in the finals because his shot isn't falling. People are hating. Yeah, I get it. Tatum, look. Everybody says Tatum before Brown when you think about Boston, and that's why. It just is what it is. I could give 2 shits if it's Tatum, Holiday, freaking Peyton off the bench. It doesn't matter to me who the guy is there. I mean, they're all playing well. Boston has come out and shown, somehow they have recaptured that mid-season magic that they had, even though you didn't see it all throughout the playoffs. And they're playing great basketball right now. Luka cannot do it by himself.
Yeah, I think Tatum, people just hating on him hard because, he is supposed to be a top 7-6 player in the league, and he's not really showing that right now. I get it, but who cares? If they win the championship, I don't think they care. I don't think it matters. He still looks like a great player. He's an all-star, and yeah, he'll be playing better in the next couple of games.
Indeed, yes, Boston is pretty deep, even though they don't play a big rotation. All right, let's transition, Guru, and get to this. Dan Hurley reportedly turning down the Lakers. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think they really wanted him, and they gave him that big offer. I don't remember off the top of my head what the offer was. What was it? 6 for 80?
It was right around 70 million, I want to say.
Yeah, 70 million. He was getting around, I think, 13, 14 a year or something like that. And that's a pretty big offer. I know he's a great coach. Did very well with UConn. I guess he wants to run it back there. I guess it's time for JJ to step back in. And
how awkward is that, man? It's so awkward. It's like when you choose one, if you're in that position where there's 2 girls that like you and you go out with one of them over the other, and then it doesn't work out, and it's like first phone call. Hey, we haven't caught up in a while. How's it going? I don't think JJ is going to care. Do you?
No, I don't think he cares because I think they probably told him, hey, we're going to try to go for this guy first. And if you don't, he has the experience. He has actually some coaching experience and in college, and we think he'd be a better fit for right now. But if he doesn't want it, are you still okay with being that second option? And I think he'll be okay with that.
But, you know what? Hold on, we're going to get our first drop of the day. Hey, Lakers.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
You embarrassed yourself in front of the NBA. You're like, hey, look at us on NBA Finals Day. We're going to get Dan Hurley, a gooba gooba goo. And what happens? Nothing. He turns you down. Now on a national stage, you're going to come crawling back to JJ Redick. Well done, Lakers.
How about no?
Love it. That's what you get. That's karma, Lakers fan. Don't do that. Like, you should have kept that quiet, but you wanted the attention, and this is what happens. I think it's the right move. I would not go to LA if I was Dan Hurley. Too much up in the air. You don't LeBron, you're going to clash with him probably. Those are two strong personalities. Hurley could have any job he wants in the NBA if it opened up, probably. And on top of that, not enough people are talking about this. Why the hell would you want to come to the Western Conference for your first coaching job, especially for an East Coast guy?
I guess it depends. How I mean, he was getting a nice payday for this contract, so that would have been nice. And getting to be in LA, living there instead of UConn, near Connecticut, that's a little bright spot. Also, being with the best player ever. I know he's obviously post prime, but there's obviously a decent amount of things that would be enticing for him to take the job. But I guess it wasn't enticing enough.
Well, UConn's probably going to make it a little sweeter for him because this is going to be a revolving thing. I mean, it is every offseason for a lot of college coaches, whether it's to a different college or jump into the pros. So they'll sweeten the pot for him. But I just, like, if you're Dan Hurley, are you waiting for maybe, I don't know, that Knicks job eventually to come up? Are you waiting? I mean, the Eastern Conference, UConn and Sea-Dog, tell me if I'm wrong, they play an East Coast brand of basketball, and it's different bringing that brand to the West Coast. I know his offense is highly regarded, but I would want to stay the hell out of the West because this West is nasty. The Kings are not just behind an 8-ball, they're behind 2 8-balls.
Yeah, I agree. It's always funny. Lakers always make these weird coaching decisions. I've never seen they always just choose these unique guys or new guys, or I don't know. Like if we go through all their history, they just had some interesting decisions. What Frank Vogel, they got Hurley, they got Luke Walton, they got Darvin Ham. I don't know. It's just these coaches. You don't think they're just not what you think the Lakers would be going for, I guess.
Hey, you know what? My dream is still alive. Jerry Reynolds' dream is still alive. LeBron, player coach, player co-GM. It could still happen. My gosh. First, I'm shocked that he has a straight sports take. And second, I'm shocked because that is an amazing take. He may not get another chance, speaking of Dan Hurley, to go 3 in a row at UConn. That's a hell of a take. Respond to that, Sea-Dog. I want to see what you think about that.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Haunted Horse is right. I like the take. I think that he loses in the tournament. Yeah, I think he'll be fine in UConn, and he'll win a lot of games there. And he does want to win that 3 in a row. So we'll see. I mean, like you said, he has a chance to get any NBA job he wants, and maybe he is trying to pull for the East, and maybe he does really care for winning. So maybe you are right that he would rather be wait for an East Coast gig. And obviously he wants to win. He's going back to UConn, and he doesn't think the Lakers would you get an 8th, 9th, 10th seed maybe, the way they're looking at right now.
Yeah,
you don't know.
I just know I wouldn't want my first taste of the NBA to be with LeBron at this stage of his career, because LeBron, he has so much power with the players across the league. Like, if it doesn't go right, that could screw everything up for Dan Hurley, and that's got to be a concern. Let's go triples and bring in Jay. You're on with the Guru and Ry-doe. What up, Jay?
Guru and Ry-doe, what's going on, guys?
How you doing, Jay?
Good. I always love Guru's takes. He's very well. He articulates his words very well.
Appreciate
Guru
that.
Guru is
Jay.
calculated, man. That's why
calculated.
TNT built a model of their set in his house.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that background. I honestly think Dan Hurley, he's very intelligent, but I think he's kind of stupid for not taking it. It's easy to say when you're not a millionaire like myself, but even if I were making $30 million and someone offered me more than double, I'm more than likely still going to take that. That's just, what I feel like I would do. Especially, I mean, I get he's doing the three-peat thing. That's what he wants to do. That's cool and all. It's cute or whatever, But I think NBA Finals has a lot more weight to it than an NCAA tournament champion. And I do think that it would further accelerate his career if he were able to win with the Lakers. I think that would really cement his legacy further than just doing a three-peat.
Interesting take. Very interesting take. I think the way I look at it is in TC. By the way, I will call you once we wrap up this segment. I will bring you on. TC tried to call the phone line. We'll add him in here in a little bit. I think that Dan Hurley and the way we've got to look at these guys is, even though they're people, you also have to look at them as commodities. And does he think he could maybe cash out for more later? Does he think there's a bigger number in his future, Jay? And I mean, yeah, the Lakers, you win a championship, the finals is a bigger deal than a college championship because guys don't stick around anymore in college. There's no rivalries really in men's college basketball. And that's kind of made UConn different. People are sticking around there. He gets 4-year guys that stay. But I think maybe he sees the writing on the wall that, everybody has that internal feeling. If something doesn't feel right. And I just think maybe this falls in those lines for him. And he thinks maybe there's a better opportunity for more money down the road.
Yeah, I think that offer could be, if he gets his three-peat, if he doesn't, I think that offer's still there next year.
Yeah, maybe, no doubt.
Yeah, so, not for the Lakers, maybe not, obviously not for the Lakers, but it's another team. So I think he understands that money is there. I mean, I get it. People think it's dumb that he didn't take it. He's in LA, gets to be with LeBron Davis, gets to live in LA by the beach, Manhattan Beach. I don't know where he wants to live in LA, but if he wants to do, maybe he thinks, hey, like, I just want to do one more time in college, run it back. Let's get this three-peat. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to the NBA. But he's gonna have a lot of options when he wants to be in the NBA.
Yeah, that's true too. He will definitely have options after. I don't know. I just jump on it though.
I hear you. It's a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah.
6 years, $70 million. That puts him.
You also get to say that you coached one of the greatest players to ever live.
I don't think that matters to him.
I mean, it might not, but I mean, it's still something to add to the resume, right?
Yeah. No.
Let alone win with him. If you win with him, that's what I mean. That's pretty cool.
I just like the problem that I have, and let's throw the Bronny thing into this. Let's say the Lakers are targeting Bronny with the second round pick. Okay. Dan Hurley ain't gonna let that shit fly. He doesn't want Bronny. He knows there's better players out there, and I think that's where, C-Dog, tell me if I'm wrong. This dude runs a tight program. It's his way or the highway. Dude is intense, and I just don't think that those measurables really would react too well in LA right now.
But would you turn down Bronny for $70 million? Like, does that really matter? Like, you have full control over this guy's playtime. Like,
well, what's his contract in UConn right now? C-Dog, put that in the chat for me so I don't have to look
5 years, $30 million. I do want to say we're just assuming that we're talking about the Lakers and LeBron as if LeBron is still on the Lakers. Like, as of right now, technically he's a free agent, so he really
true.
You know what I mean? People are assuming like this could actually even be worse. Being that it's almost like the Lakers are kind of embarrassing themselves. Now imagine if LeBron doesn't return. Now it's even looking worse. So you don't get a coach, or you get James Borrego, which he's cool, but he's not Dan Hurley. Or you get a first-time JJ Redick, who's a rookie coach, and you lose LeBron. It's gonna look bad for the Lakers.
I think, you make a good point. It might be lose either way. If LeBron stays, like Ry-doe hit it on the head, I think he does have a lot of power, and I don't know if Hurley wants to go across the line around LeBron, tiptoe around him, and do all this stuff. And if LeBron leaves, well, he just lost LeBron. So I don't know. Maybe he was weighing those options and not loving that. So we'll see. I mean, a three-peat's kind of nice in college.
Yeah.
See, guys, I kind of think the Lakers' job is more appealing without LeBron.
Yeah, I do. I agree because then you have like younger players that you can actually develop a dynasty, like you can really become one of those teams that are relevant for the next decade by instilling a philosophy, and obviously the younger these cats are, these young adults, the more of an imprint you're going to have on them versus a 29-year-old NBA player, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. C-Dog chiming in. Hurley cares about legacy over some extra cash. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of true. Once you hit a level of wealth, I mean, the money is money. Don't get me wrong. But, you take the other measurables, quality of life, quality of work into consideration as much, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, Rhino, if you had $30 million in your bank account and another podcast offered you $70 million, would you take it, or you'd be like, nah, I like this one?
Well,
a lot of variables.
Different. It's a way different thing. I mean, if I had 30 million in my bank account and another place offered me 70,
probably a lot of variables involved in that.
Yeah, there is, man. I mean,
who's your
figure out the
co-host?
variables after they wire transfer.
Okay, I will say this. Zach and I are fairly close off the air. Zach and I chat. The Guru and I chat. He knows that I have had some pots in the fire that would have taken this platform away from us, and maybe more appealing, maybe more exposure. But I've decided to stick with this platform. So in some ways, I really think that I would have to look at that, because just what Zach said, the variables, I have had some things, not that type of money, but definitely more appealing offers.
Yeah, I also see like a lot of people, when you hear like they say, oh, I'll buy your business for such and such, they kind of just use that as a valuation for their business. And they're like, well, if they're willing to buy it for this much, if I keep it and keep growing it, imagine how much more I can get, type of thing. I think that's where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you have and you know what you can do with it.
Sure. And then there's also, like, again, quality of life, like, what if the other opportunities aren't where you live? What if
that is very true?
You know what I mean? Like, you got to take, what if it's going to take you away from home, where you're only going to be home once every couple weekends? Like, you really, especially like Dan Hurley's older than us all here right now, but you're still taking that stuff into account. There's no doubt about it.
Haunted Horse looks like he offered you a nice little deal here.
Oh my God. I offered Ryan $1 million a year to be my butler, and he decided to stay and do this streaming thing. Huge mistake. Okay, hey, he's breaking the news. That was the offer. I did not want to go deal with Portland woman in Portland, man. I mean, I know how you live too, Horse. You and your red Kool-Aid and your diet. This dude's picky. He's got to have his diet root beer. Yeah,
hey,
and it doesn't. Krispy Kremes, yeah.
If that offer's still available, let me know.
Yeah, Haunted Horse. Does that apply to anybody? To Jay, to Guru, to Dennis? You still throwing that out there? I mean, $1 million is not nearly enough to deal with you. Because you're the type of dude that would have me like cutting your toenails. You're the type of dude that could easily pick up that piece of paper that you dropped, but you would be like, hey, pick that up, Butler. I know you would, dude. You'd probably make me wear a Jimmy Butler jersey just to remind me that I was your butler, bro. Come on, dude. That's
what fair about like the location and like your family thing, and I feel like 70 million, you can pretty much up and move your whole family. Like, so that's another thing too in that scenario. Like, I don't know if he has grandkids or whatever, but I mean, you can easily uproot your family to the West Coast with that $70 million.
But again, you're betting on, this is the variable. You are assuming you are going to have success in the NBA. You are assuming, like, because here's the bottom line.
Well, if you don't have success, it's still fully guaranteed. You could fire him next year and he's still getting 70 mil.
But what's up with your legacy? Why do you think Coach K?
He can go back.
But exactly. But it's a part of your legacy that is stained. You went to the NBA and it didn't work. We hear it in the NFL all the time. Nick Saban went to the NFL and it didn't work. He wasn't a good pro coach, and now he's back at college, and it's hurt his legacy. If he would have
not really.
100% that follows him around, Jay. It does.
I think he's one of the greatest, and I think the NCAA fan base could agree that he's one of the greatest football coaches of all time.
Correct, but the crossovers that are NCAA and NFL fans now say, well, he couldn't do it in the NFL. Look at what he did in the NFL. So
Yeah, but all it takes is one LA Lakers rumor, and then everybody forgets. You just
What
say,
do you
"Oh,
mean?
the Lakers had freaking Chipotle for lunch today. Can you believe that?" And then everybody forgets that. It's a
Yeah.
joke because they took away from the finals by doing all this other
Oh,
stuff.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
That
I,
they've got so much cake on their face right now. So much cake. And Jay, I actually appreciate the point you make about LeBron. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't know. He could.
He is so focused. So if he was going to go somewhere, how should I say this?
Philly.
I don't know if it's real. I mean, I don't know if it's realistic.
New York would be the place he would go. Number one, New York would be the place he would go. The objection is the owner in New York. That is the thing that would be holding him back. If LeBron really wanted to chase a championship, that is his best opportunity. But LeBron seems to be, and everybody that I've talked to in Lakers land, he is really loving his life down in LA. And
Warriors.
What's that?
Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Kings would be a great option for LeBron, too, believe it or not, at this point of his career. Yes, they would, dude.
I don't want him. I don't want the GM over here.
Okay, then why do you think Dan Hurley wants him if you don't want him here?
Well, at least Dan Hurley's getting paid to put up with it.
I don't know. I mean,
it's tough because LeBron needs to, if he free agent wise, he has to get paid. He's not going to want to go for $10 million. He's not going to take a pay cut. So there's not many teams that even have that kind of cap space. Yeah, maybe Philly,
he's not taking.
But I don't think he's going to Philly. And
I don't know. Philly got Tyrese Maxey and Joel.
It's New York or LA, y'all. I'm telling you right now, it is New York or LA.
And he wants to set up his grounds for that Vegas.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, Guru.
Yeah.
So guys, I know he wants to be part of ownership with that, and he wants Vegas to get an expansion. But what I was saying before is he's more focused, and that's why I asked the question like 6 weeks ago here. Do you think winning a championship is more important to LeBron or playing with Bronny? What's more important? It's the Bronny. No, it's the Bronny factor, dude. This dude would be out of the league right now. He would be walking away for the game right now if it wasn't for Bronny.
Can I rebuttal? Can I ask you this?
Sure.
Let's put the scenario. I know it's make believe or whatever, and it's probably rare that it would happen. But LeBron he's going to sign his next contract. More than likely going to be a 2-year +1 player option. Or 3 years. He's probably not going to sign a 40
with a no trade clause too.
Yeah. Let's say he can three-peat or play with Bronny. Which one are you picking?
Oh,
so three-peat the next 3 years?
Yeah, a three-peat, obviously, 100%. But but we're saying, would you rather win the lottery or go have dinner at McDonald's? Like, like they're too far apart. It's just LeBron. He's focused on the next stage. Both of you guys hit on it, and it's consistent with what I'm hearing. He's building what he needs and what he wants for life after basketball is in Los Angeles. It's in those big cities. And so
right, because Vegas is very close.
Correct. And New York, obviously media empires there as well. A lot of good stuff happening on the court in New York as well. But he's going to be a Laker guy, especially if JJ Redick becomes the coach of the Lakers. LeBron's going nowhere. I know it's possible. I don't see him going.
So who's going to be the addition to the roster? Because there's no way they're running it with this squad.
Dude, they did not play terrible in the playoffs this year, Jay. They really didn't.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't think – I think they've tried it with this roster and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, it's a good question.
They'll always find some trades. I mean, a year ago they got D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura, and that changed the whole dynamic of the whole team. And that they just got those 2 trades, a year 2 years ago, and it worked great for them. So I think they can do the same thing again. They have a couple pieces here and there. They still got Rui. They got Austin Reeves. So we'll see. I mean, I still think they have a decent shot if they make the right moves. I mean, they still have a pick, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I think personally, if I were the Lakers organization, I would try to go all in. This is one of those win now type of, franchises. Like for the Kings, we're not necessarily win now. We're compete now, though. We want to see that next step. Like we're not going to risk it all to try to win a championship next season. And I don't think we'll do something like that where we trade like 4 first-round picks for some guy. But I think in the Lakers' case, that's something that they may do.
I don't disagree with you about going all in, but it wouldn't be going all in because of LeBron. It would be going all in because of AD.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
and to set him up for the future?
correct.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense, yeah.
AD, LeBron's talked about giving the keys to AD. He wants it to be his team, but we all know the reality is it's always going to be LeBron's team while he's there. But AD, quietly, that clock is ticking. If this does not work out, if JJ comes in, because the relationship between JJ or whoever the next coach is going to be, the most important relationship that you got to listen to is him and AD. How is he going to be able to coach AD? Because that's the guy that you need to stick around if you're Los Angeles. If not, you are in literally full rebuild.
Yeah.
And the injuries start stacking up. Like, he's not gonna. I don't see him go until 39 like LeBron and 40. I think he doesn't have as long as we all think too. So I think his injuries are stacking up a little bit too. So he's got to get on it.
Yeah, I agree
pretty soon here.
It's an interesting
so
conversation.
Who you go all in for? Because I've heard rumors, and I think the most interesting one, in my opinion, is a Donovan Mitchell move.
Yeah, they've been linked to the Kyrie, a year ago, and then now they're saying Donovan Mitchell. These guys Lakers are associated with like half the league sometimes. So, but yeah, I mean, if they could get Donovan Mitchell somehow, that'd be great. I don't know if they have enough to do that. They gotta trade like all their picks and like.
I don't know. Cleveland owes LeBron a favor. Go ahead and send him down here to LA. That's what I would say if I was LeBron. I'm like, bro,
Donovan would like that.
You guys, yeah. I do think that Bronny James and Bryce James may end up playing in Vegas for LeBron. What do you guys think about that?
That's possible. That's a good point.
Yeah, it could
happen.
It makes a lot of sense.
It could be. We'll see. I mean, they got to get a franchise first. Adam Silver. Did anybody listen to the King's Court this weekend? I broke down Adam Silver's NBA Finals press conference. He's getting to, just to recap really quick, he's acknowledging about expansion. He said, let's get this taken care of, and then it was let's get CBA done. Then let's get
TV deals.
The TV deals done, and then we'll talk expansion. And then, he's doing the NFL talk, thinking about going international. That's a ways off. But he was specifically asked about Vegas and Seattle, and he ducked it and said there's no guarantee those cities are getting them, but definitely there's consideration given to those cities, and Vegas has shown that they've been able to support franchises, except the A's. They don't want the A's. So
nobody wants the A's.
Nobody wants.
Besides Sacramento.
Sac wants the A's, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think we're probably a couple of years out from the expansion team and stuff like that, and a lot of wheels got to be moving, a lot of bolts got to be put in, and everything. So we'll see. I mean, but I think that's a good call. I think if LeBron does get that team in Vegas and everything, I think he would try to get both those guys on his team, and because they do the draft, right, where they pick like one players from each team. They draft. Yeah, they can get like the 9th or 10th guy or something.
Dude, just be happy being the general manager of your kid's AAU team. I mean, you can't turn a franchise, an NBA franchise, into an AAU team, but. I mean, maybe.
Hey, mark my words. I said it here first.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I asked for bold predictions on Friday. You just gave one right now. I'll take that.
He might be the Michael Jordan 2.0 owner type.
He probably will be, honestly.
Except with kids that he wants to have on his team.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he'll come out of retirement to play with them. All right, you two. I'm going to get you out here because I'm going to get TC in. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys have both made the show better today. That's Jay. Well, actually, I'll let you both have your outros. Guru, take it. What do you want to talk about for a couple seconds?
Just excited to see what happens in the NBA Finals. We got the draft coming up. We got free agency coming up. We'll see. I'm excited to see what the Kings do. I think you and Grant always mentioned that I think the Kings kind of know what Monk's decision is or what he's going to get from other teams and stuff like that. So it's coming soon. I mean, we're already mid-June almost, so pretty much a couple weeks away finding out what the Kings are going to be looking like pretty soon.
Yes, indeed. It's a solid point. Early July is well, the Kings should have an indication now. But dude, you got to do this more often. You
Appreciate
are
it.
welcome here anytime, Guru.
Sounds great. Thanks,
All right,
Ry-doe.
brother. Yep. Jay, good stuff too. Jay, any closing words?
Yeah, I didn't really get to touch on Vazenkov, but long story short, he could walk.
Yeah.
I don't really care. He's lucky it's not the NFL because we would definitely take dead cap. You know, a lot of NFL
Yeah.
teams don't care for taking dead cap. But yeah, that's pretty much. I don't even think he's worth a second round pick, honestly. But yeah, so he could walk. I'll walk him back to Ukraine or wherever.
You're
him
gonna
fight.
walk him back.
Yeah.
You're that sold on it. Yeah. You know what? It just maybe the NBA isn't for him. Who knows? But
Yeah.
we
No, I
we
think it's
still
too fast paced. I was watching some of his highlights in Europe, and it's a different ball game.
much
compared to
different
the-
ball game. Yeah. Guys are standing still a lot more on defense in Europe. Than
But
they
yeah,
are
that's pretty
here.
much it. I'll probably tune in tonight, 8 p.m. Right?
Yeah. Join
Awesome.
us. Get up in here. We'll be back. All right, brother. Good stuff from Jay there. Let's get TC on the horn. I promised we would give him a ring back really quick, and then we will get ready to wrap up the show. Got to make sure I call TC through the right way. Because if I call TC the other way, that means I'm going to start giving out my phone number, which I don't want to give out my phone number to everybody. You know what, TC? Never mind. TC, do not abuse this. Do not abuse this, my friend. But I am calling him so we can get him up in here. TC. What's up, man?
Call you back.
Yeah, hey, TC, I'm going to call you on the other line. This is not connecting for whatever reason. You're not coming through, so let me call you right back. Sorry about that, y'all. Got to get this. You know what? I'm going to have to get TC another time. I'll hit TC up in a second. Hey, we're going to rack him up. We have, what's he selling Rhino's phone number for $50. Yeah, do not do that. Do not do that, haunted horse. I don't know why that did not work. That is weird because the intro worked. Very interesting. We'll troubleshoot that. Haunted horse, you know you're going to be getting a call from me here in a little bit. All right, we're going to wrap up the show because Grant's going to be back at 5 o'clock Pacific. That gives you more than enough time to get some rest. Go show him some love right here on If You Don't Like That. And then Grant and I will be back at 8 o'clock tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you go watch Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I am enthralled with hockey. I said it at the top. I was texting C-Dog during the Stanley Cup Finals the other night on Saturday. I was loving it. The first period. I can't believe Edmonton lost that game. See, now it's coming through my headphones. What the hell? TC. No, it's not working. I don't know what's going on. I got to fix it. I'll give you a call tomorrow, all right? All right, brother. I don't know why that's not working. That's so weird. But TC's got my number now, so I'll take his call offline. But yeah, make sure that you watch Stanley Cup Finals. We will be breaking down stuff tonight. We'll be talking about Sasha. We'll be talking about anything else that breaks. And then tomorrow, don't forget Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. Looking forward to having Jerry here on the King's Court. That's going to be a lot of fun. He usually sticks around for at least 30 or 40 minutes. In fact, if you watched TV last night, Jerry was in studio with ABC 10 doing a post-game show with them. So we'll have to give him some love for that. But Jerry will be here tomorrow. We're going to have a full and great show for you as always. But again, Grant, 5 o'clock tonight. And then we'll be back at 8 p.m. Thank you all so much for being here. We didn't get to a ton of content. We didn't even get to the Ry-does because we had calls, but that's all right. We will get them in sometime this week. Great takes by everybody. Love the chat. Appreciate all of you. Make it a great rest of the day. Again, don't forget, 5 o'clock, Grant is going to be back here on If You Don't Like That with Open Forum. And then 8 o'clock, we are back for our Monday Night Sports Scrum. Hit it.
Holy moly, Jimbo Bowley.
Good job, Tedora. always giving us the holy moly Jim Bob Bully. Go Kings, light the damn beam. Court is dismissed.